Age gap relationships are nothing new, but Emmanuel Macron and his wife Brigitte. Now that's a story. A 24-year difference is already intriguing, but what really makes it jaw-dropping? He was just a teenager when they met, and she was his teacher. Yes, you heard that right. During a rare interview, Brigitte admitted, "My head was in a mess. For me, such a young boy was crippling." So, how did it all begin? Let's rewind to the early 90s. Emmanuel was just 15 years old, a student at Lycée La Providence in Amiens, a small city in northern France. Brigitte, a woman 24 years his senior, married with 3 children, was his literature and drama teacher. And get this, her eldest daughter, Laurence, was actually in the same class as Emmanuel. At the time, Brigitte had been married for about 20 years to a banker named André-Louis Ozière. She was living a completely normal, respectable life as a wife, mother, and teacher. But everything changed when she met Emmanuel. You know where it's going. Their bond started while working during a school play, The Art of Comedy, by Italian playwright Edoardo De Filippo. Every Friday night they stayed after school, rehearsing lines, exchanging ideas, and apparently falling in love. Or at least he was.
And this is for a very positive memory.
Every Friday I would go write a play with her for a few hours. We talked about everything. It seemed to me that we had always known each other, the French president later revealed. Brigitte later said that working with young Emmanuel was like working with Mozart. He wasn't just smart, he was intense, driven, and way beyond his years.
We work very well together.
Now, at first, people just thought it was a close teacher-student relationship, but then things got a little too close. Other students started noticing that Brigitte and Emmanuel spent a lot of time together, staying late after rehearsals, deep in conversation, clearly very focused on each other. And then came the moment that really set off alarm bells. They were spotted at a restaurant, sharing what witnesses described as a tender moment. Let's just say, small towns love their gossip. Rumors started flying, and when Emmanuel's parents found out, they couldn't believe it. At first, they actually thought he was dating Brigitte's daughter, because that would have made way more sense. But when they realized the truth, they took immediate action. His mother, Françoise, admitted that when she first found out, she was completely shocked.
I think everybody was emotional at this very moment.
In a biography about Macron, his mother said, "We couldn't believe it. When Emmanuel met Brigitte, we couldn't just say, 'That's great.'" And honestly, can you blame her? Imagine your teenage son having long personal phone calls with someone much older, especially when that person is also his teacher. That's not exactly a situation most parents are prepared for. Their solution? Get him out of there. Fast. They sent him off to an elite boarding school in Paris, hoping that, with some distance, he'd move on, meet girls his own age, and forget all about his teacher.
I think they made a huge mistake.
Brigitte, knowing how scandalous the situation had become, tried to distance herself as well. She believed Emmanuel would move on, meet someone his own age, and forget about her. But he didn't. Even from Paris, Emmanuel kept in touch. He called, he wrote letters, and he refused to let go. He even told Brigitte, "No matter what you do, I will marry you." I mean, come on. Most teenage boys are just trying to get through their exams, and here's Emmanuel, making lifetime commitments.
I always prefer having direct discussion.
And Brigitte? Despite everything, her husband, her kids, the social scandal, she couldn't ignore her feelings either. But she wasn't reckless. She knew her children would be affected, so she took her time. For 10 years, she stayed in contact with Emmanuel, but remained in her marriage, trying to shield her family from the inevitable fallout. But eventually, the marriage ended. By then, Brigitte's children were adults, and she finally felt free to be with Emmanuel. André-Louis Ozière, her ex-husband, took it hard. He left the family home in 1994, though their divorce wasn't finalized until 2006. A year later, in 2007, France's future president and his ex-drama teacher got married. She was 54, he was 29. And in an almost symbolic twist, they tied the knot in Le Touquet, the same seaside town where she had once married her first husband.
Quel rôle vous jouez auprès de lui?
Je suis son épouse, c'est tout simple.
When asked about their age gap, Brigitte told Elle France, "There are times in your life when you need to make vital choices, and for me, that was it. If I hadn't made that choice, I would have missed out on my life."
And people just want to choose a life. That's very much important.
Now, let's just pause here for a second. Imagine being her kids. One day, your mom is a regular school teacher, married to your dad, and the next, she's in a relationship with someone much younger, who, by the way, you went to school with. That's gotta be rough. And it was. Brigitte's youngest daughter, Tiffaine, later admitted that the whole situation was incredibly painful. She was just 10 years old when the scandal broke, and living in a small town meant everyone had an opinion. Even though social media wasn't around yet, rumors spread fast, and her family was the talk of the town. I learned a lot about human nature then. We had to move forward, ignoring attacks, rumors, and punishments. In a small town, everything was known, she shared. Watching her father leave was especially hard. Family separation can be both sadness and opportunity. Recomposition can be an enrichment. I have a loving father and stepfather, she said, adding that she still spoke of her dad in the present tense, even after he passed in 2019. Brigitte, however, has always defended their relationship. She once said, "He wasn't a teenager, he had a relationship of equals with other adults." Well, technically, he was a teenager. But okay, Brigitte, we'll let you have that one. By then, Emmanuel's career was on the rise. He was making a name for himself in the world of finance and politics. And in 2017, at just 39, he became the youngest president in French history. Interestingly, that was the exact age Brigitte had been when she first met him.
The fact that Emmanuel Macron is in a relationship with his old teacher, so a lady older than him, tells a story that is more interesting than those of the other candidates.
During his victory speech, he made sure to acknowledge her, saying, "She's always there, and what's more, without whom I wouldn't be me." If nothing else, you have to admit, Macron is committed. 5 years later, Brigitte stood beside him once again when he won re-election in 2022.
The office of the French president is here, and this is where I work.
This is magnificent.
By then, the world had pretty much accepted their love story, even if it still raised eyebrows.
Emotion is always stronger than argumentation.
They never had children together, but Emmanuel has stepped into the role of stepfather to Brigitte's 3 kids. And now, at just 47, he's also a step-grandfather to her 7 grandchildren. Talk about skipping a few levels on the family tree. It's fascinating, really, that they've been together for decades now. Despite the controversy, their relationship has stood the test of time. But, let's be honest, the way it all started still raises concerns for many.
It was absolutely unique. This is a phenomenon.
So, what do you think? Is this an extraordinary love story? Or one that still raises eyebrows? When it comes to celebrity couples with a significant age difference, one of the most well-known is the family of Aaron and Sam Taylor Johnson. He is currently 33 years old, while his wife is 57.
What inspires you?
Sam. Aaron.
Really? We're getting goopy now.
Aaron, the rumored new James Bond and lead of an upcoming Marvel title, and a director Sam officially became husband and wife back in 2012. If you can't immediately figure out the numbers, we'll do it for you. At the time of their wedding, she was 45 and he was 23. And when they fell in love, Aaron Johnson was 18 and Sam Taylor Wood was 41. But we all know that age is no obstacle when it comes to love, right?
Sam, what's it like directing your husband in a sex scene with another woman?
We're blocking it out, we're composing the shot, and then I'm behind the monitor, I'm watching it, and I'm like, oh.
He was a budding actor, and she was an established director and mother of 2 daughters. No one believed in their relationship. However, this year, they're celebrating 12 years of marriage. They were predicted to quickly break up, but the relationship between these two only grows stronger. What you gotta realize is that what most people were doing in their 20s, I was doing when I was 13, Aaron told Rolling Stone UK in a recent interview. You're doing something too quickly for someone else? I don't understand that. What speed are you supposed to enjoy life at? It's bizarre to me. So, how did this unconventional romance begin? How did it happen that a young man, or should we say, a boy, fell in love with an older woman? Their journey began with a chance encounter on a film set, where sparks flew and destinies intertwined. But let's start from the very beginning. Aaron Taylor Johnson was born on June 13, 1990, in High Wycombe, England. He appeared in commercials and TV series from the age of 6. He landed his first leading role in 2002 in the Christmas film Tom and Thomas.
Touchdown! Hey, you said touchdown. Of course I said touchdown.
His next project was the comedy action film Shanghai Nights. From that time on, he began to appear in movies continuously. In 2008, Samantha Taylor Wood began preparing for the filming of Nowhere Boy. At the same time, she started to divorce her husband, art dealer Jay Jopling, with whom she had 2 daughters. Aaron was one of the candidates for the lead role in the film Nowhere Boy.
Oh, why couldn't God make me Elvis?
Because he was saving you for John Lennon.
He had a limited schedule as he was filming 2 movies. After separating from her husband, Samantha was just about to move out of their shared home. And on that same day, Aaron happened to be free. So he went to the director's audition at her house. When Samantha saw the young man, she immediately knew she found the actor for the lead role. Aaron was to turn 18 in 2 months.
Yeah, you know, it's a part of his life. He goes from a boy to a man and really kind of discovering his art form and finding love and this sort of the impact that his aunt and his mother have on his life.
Samantha Taylor Johnson later told Harper's Bazaar, "Everyone on set knew, and as soon as we finished, he told me he was going to marry me. We had never been on a date or even kissed."
It didn't evolve during the filming because, you know, I was at work, he was at work. It was a work environment and we didn't really mix the two. So that happened when we finished filming.
Sam, of course, realized that it was somewhat reckless on her part to get involved with the young heartthrob Aaron. After all, not everything in the life of this talented woman went smoothly, and she endured many difficult, terrifying trials. First, the battle with alcoholism, then she fought cancer twice and ultimately defeated the disease. Despite her resilience, it seems her then-husband couldn't bear the constant moral pressure and hastened to break up with her. Nevertheless, she persevered, giving birth to 2 beautiful daughters and becoming a renowned director. Like any woman, she naturally feared such a relationship. It took her some time to get back on her feet. The engagement was announced at the premiere of the film Nowhere Boy in the fall of 2009. Aaron shared in one of the interviews, "I knew I wanted a family with her. I knew I wanted kids, and a month later she was pregnant with our first child." When the child was born, Aaron turned 20. Approximately a year and a half later, their second daughter, Romy Hero, was born. In June 2012, after the birth of their 2 children, they got married. Among the guests were Beyoncé and Elton John, and the latter even serenaded them. Before that, Aaron was very welcomed into the Taylor Wood family. Her charming daughters greeted him as their own. In turn, he began to take care of them. This flattered Sam and brought her joy. For the first time in her life, she met the man she had been waiting for all along. Reliable, loving, and kind, Aaron became Samantha's ideal partner, and he admired her intelligence, wit, and rare charm. The happy father simply adores being in the female company, where he is loved and adored by all. In an interview with the Sunday Times after the success of the film 50 Shades of Grey, which she directed, Sam said, "The great thing about Aaron is that he's happy not working and being at home with the kids while I work. We're actually fighting over it. He's like, no, I like being an at-home dad, doing the cooking and the school runs." And by the way, the couple exchanged surnames. Now he is Aaron Taylor Johnson, and she is Samantha Taylor Johnson. My friends call him Benjamin Button because he has, on the outside, such youth, and on the inside, he is so wise and settled. He doesn't like parties. He likes being at home and cooking for the family. Sam shared, on the occasion of Sam's 50th birthday, he posted the pic of his wife's name tattooed over his heart with the caption, "Forever in my heart." Sam has often cast her husband in her films and music videos. In 2018, she cast him in her film A Million Little Pieces, and also in the music video for R.E.M's song Uberlin. On October 28, 2020, Aaron danced in the music video for Rise Black Rain, directed by Sam again. The couple renewed their wedding vows again in June 2022 to celebrate 10 years of marriage. Sharing a photo of him passionately kissing his wife, Aaron captioned the post, "Yesterday was the most beautiful day. Summer solstice, our 10th anniversary. We renewed our vows to one another and confessed our love in front of our nearest and dearest friends and family. It was a celebration of love and joy." Even after nearly 12 years of marriage, Aaron and Sam continue to inspire us with their love story. Their social media feeds are a testament to their enduring romance, reminding us that true love knows no limits. Heidi Klum and Seal's feelings were so strong they stayed together even after she told him she was pregnant with another man's child. Despite all the love, the two divorced, and it wasn't until the model met another musician, Tokyo Hotel guitarist Tom Kaulitz, that she felt it was right to marry again. Even the 17-year age difference didn't stand in her way. Before she met Seal, Heidi Klum had already been married to stylist Rick Pepino. Although Heidi and Rick never revealed why they had decided to part ways, the top model did say the separation was mutual and amicable. About a year after her breakup, Klum started dating Formula One manager Flavio Briatore. The romance lasted only a few months, but changed Heidi's life forever when she realized she was pregnant. The fashion legend decided to have the baby even if it meant being a single mom. Little did she know, she was about to meet her next husband. In 2004, Klum met Seal in a hotel lobby. When the musician came in from the gym in a pair of tight-fitting shorts, the model couldn't help but stare. "I pretty much saw everything, the whole package," Heidi joked years later. However, there was a worry in Heidi's mind. What will happen when Seal finds out she was pregnant with another man's child? After spending their first night together, Klum finally broke the news to Seal. When the model told the musician she was pregnant, he laughed and said, "Already? That's amazing." To which Heidi replied, "Not with you, stupid." There was a pause of about 10 seconds. Seal explained about the moment, and I said, "It doesn't change the way I feel about you because the fact that you are here tells me that you think a lot about me." Seal decided he would raise Heidi's child with her. Years later, he would adopt Lenny, Heidi's daughter, who even took his surname. Seal has opened up about the special relationship he has with his daughter, saying, "I'd give my life for any of my children, but there's a special relationship with daughters. Also, because she was the first one." The musician was so sure his and Heidi's love was strong that he proposed to the model the same year they started dating. The couple tied the knot in May 2005 in Mexico. They would go on to welcome 3 more children.
I really love my family. Starting from my husband, who's the most handsome person in the world, my better half, my everything, my love, my love, my love.
The couple renewed their vows during each of their anniversaries. Each vow renewal ceremony had a different theme. For example, the pair had a white trash wedding one year. Years later, after he and Heidi had divorced, Seal confessed that he didn't enjoy the vow renewal ceremonies because he felt like they had turned into a spectacle.
It kind of turned into a little bit of a circus, which I wasn't terribly fond of.
In 2012, sad news came for the couple's fans around the world. Heidi filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. At first, everything seemed friendly enough between the exes. Klum even refused to give any insight on why the marriage ended. However, things took a turn for the worse during the COVID pandemic. Heidi was contractually obligated to film Germany's Next Top Model, and Seal didn't want the children to travel to Europe because he was concerned about the virus. Klum requested an emergency hearing. The exes luckily came to an agreement, and Klum was able to take her kids to Germany, with Seal receiving expanded time with them before and after they went. The musician made some pointed comments about co-parenting to US Weekly. "You have to be a team, and if you're not a team, then it can all fall to pieces," he told the magazine. Was this declaration a jab at Heidi or himself? After her separation, the top model moved on with her bodyguard, Martin Kirsten. Upon learning about this romance, Seal wasn't thrilled. In a now infamous video, the singer is heard saying he wished Klum waited until we separated before deciding to fornicate with the help. He later apologized through his representative for insinuating the model was unfaithful. Klum and Kirsten's relationship lasted about a year and a half. Although the romance itself wasn't very public, the breakup, unfortunately, was. Sources claimed Heidi had bought Martin a house and given him money so that he wouldn't reveal private details about their relationship. After she and Martin had parted ways, Heidi had a 3-year romance with art gallerist Vito Schnabel.
Vito, is that his name?
That is him.
And that's fantastic. So you're madly in love, and he's an art dealer, right?
He is.
Now, did you meet him because you buy
Although the two never gave a reason for their split, Vito was pictured kissing a brunette shortly before the breakup. Nobody knew what the model's love life was going to bring next, not even Klum herself. Heidi took things easy and didn't begin another serious relationship until about 2 years later, when she was spotted making out with Tokyo Hotel guitarist Tom Cowlitz.
I still believe in love and the marriage, I do. And I even though I've failed twice at it, I guess I'm not very good at it, but...
That's not true. You have to find the right person. You both have to be the right for each other.
I found a great person.
Yeah.
So let's see what happens.
Although Klum and Cowlitz seemed perfectly happy, many fans questioned their relationship because of one reason: their 17-year age gap. During an interview with InStyle, Heidi shared her thoughts on the situation, saying, "Lately, I'm being reminded more about my age by people other than myself." Less than a year after they started dating, Tom popped the question. Heidi said yes and quickly shared the news on her Instagram page. So cute.
But now here we are. Here we are again, round 3. Hopefully the last one. Fingers and toes are all crossed.
In August, the pair held a ceremony in Capri, Italy. Before then, Cowlitz had gone on a 3-day Las Vegas bachelor party. Wow. The second wedding took place on a luxury yacht, and it was attended by family and close friends. And Heidi didn't hesitate to open up about how much Tom means to her. During an interview, the model said, "I'm just a much happier person. For the first time, I have a partner with whom I can discuss everything. Someone who shares duties that we all have in our life. I used to be on my own with everything."
I don't know, it just clicked from the very second, and it was kind of as if we were already married when we just met each other. It was very bizarre that way.
It seems like after a divorce and a few long-term relationships that didn't go anywhere, Heidi found her forever love in another musician. Will her and Tom's love story remain an idyllic fairy tale, or is there drama to come?